Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about printing and how to get data out to the user. So recently we've been talking about data types and data structures and storing that data. So now we're going to be talking about how to get that data out to the user itself, right? So first, let's talk about the print command. This print command will allow us to send out information, strings, integers, whatever, to the user inside of a terminal or a console itself, right? So first we have to have a print command, and we would then do a string. So hello world is the default string that most people run whenever they first start a programming language, right? So hello world, and now let's run it. Once we hit run, as you can see down here, it prints out hello world for us. There's many different things that you can do with this, right? So let's say we want to have a variable. So let's say our variable name is just message, right? And let's say inside of this message, we want to have a hello YouTube instead of hello world. So another cool thing that the print command will allow us to do is that we can print variables directly. So we just type in print, and let's say we want to print our message, right? Once we do this and we're printing that message, so the variable itself, and we hit run, it will then now come down here and it will print out hello YouTube. Cool, right? But let's say we want to combine this, right? Let's say we want to print out our message and then another message. The way we do that is that we have a comma after our first thing we want to say. So message comma. And let's say we want to do like, how are you? Right? So once we print out message and we want to print out something afterwards, like how are you? Let's run it again and let's see what happens, right? Right here it says print, it prints out hello YouTube, and then it says how are you afterwards. As you can see right here, it adds a little space for us. This is what the comma is doing for us itself. Another cool thing that you can do is that you can also do instead of this comma right here, you can also have a plus sign. So hello, let's say we want to print out hello and world separately. So we can do a hello world with a plus sign, right? So I'll show you guys the difference. So we print this out now. Over here, it prints out hello world, but there's no space in between them, right? But if we want to, like, let's say have a comma instead, and we run this, as you can see right here, it adds an extra space for us. So this comma is a really good way to have your strings connect together, but it's very limiting, which we will talk about later. This plus sign is called string concatenation, where you add two strings together. It allows you to do a lot of stuff with it, right? But we'll talk about that later. So now let's talk about like other stuff you can print. So let's say we want to have a number, right? So let's say this number will be my age, and I'm 20. So now we can just print out I am as a string. And let's say we want to have a comma and we want to print out another thing. So I am, comma, and then let's say we want to print out whatever my age is. So the number itself, right? If we run this, it will say I am 20, right? Cool. So now let's say we have a list called fruits. And inside of this list, we want to have a bunch of different fruits. So let's say we want to have an apple, an orange, and grapes, right? So we have 3 items inside of this list called fruits. Let's say we want to print out this fruits list, right? So we call print command, and then we do a fruits. So we're printing the fruit list. So what will we expect when we print out this list, right? Do we expect to print out everything in here or the list itself? Well, your answer is the list itself, right? So it prints out the actual list. So if we want to get something inside of here, so let's say we want to get out apples. Apples is our first item, so we put as a 0th index. It will then print out the individual item inside of it. But if you were just to print out the fruits itself, like the list itself, it will print out the whole list with the strings and the commas and like everything like that, right? So another thing, let's say we want to print out a variable, but you don't really want to do a comma and then like that every single time, right? You can do something cool, and that's called an F string. So let's say I want to have my name as exceed, right? And I want to print out hello and then my name, right? So I'll just print out hello, comma, and then we want to say, we want to point it at our name. So name, right? We get this, hello, exceed. But there's an easier way to do this. It's called an F string. So before you have your first string, before you say hello, you want to put an F right here. So right before the first quote. This will now tell Python that it's a F string and that we can do some cool stuff with it. So inside of an F string, so inside of these 2 quotes, you can have curly braces. For what we're doing, we want to say we want to do a name, right? So same thing, it's just a little simpler. And then same exact output as the comma we used before. Another thing, right? Let's say we want to print out blah, blah, and blah. We have 3 blahs and we want them all to be on their same line, right? So if we print this out, as you can see here, blah, blah, blah are on the same line, but we want them to be on different lines. The way we would do that is that we will have an escape sequence. Escape sequences are basically like tabs, space, quotes, and stuff like that, right? So you can just do a / and then an n for escape sequence. So / n. There's a bunch of different escape sequences. You're welcome to look them up. They're pretty simple. It's like, so tab is just a / t, and you can have like quotes and stuff like that. So yeah, just look them up, right? So we were to print this out, we would then get back blah 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 on 3 different lines. So let's see right here at the end we have this little single new line, right? That's what print is doing. So for print, the default ending is that it's a new line, right? So it will look like something like this. So whenever it ends the string, it will add a new line automatically. So let's say we want to change this. Let's say we just want to say n, right? So whenever the print statement ends, it will just print out n. So let's see what changes. Right here, as you can see right here, instead of having that little space in between with a blank line, we now have n right there at the end. So whenever we want to have the ending, so whatever we want to, we're basically overriding the default. So by default, a print statement will end with a new line, escape sequence. But here we're overriding it with an n, right? So yeah. Another cool thing you can do is that, let's say you want to have a separator. So as you can see right here, if we do print hello world, right? And let's say we want to have these two as separate things and we want to have a comma. So hello world, right? Let's print it out and let's see. So let's now print hello world. As you can see right here, we have hello space world. But let's say we don't want that. We don't want that space instead. Instead we want something else. So the way we would do that is that we will call a sep is equal to, and now we can assign our new separator. So instead of a space, let's say we want to have a vertical bar, right? So we run this again. It would then be hello vertical bar world. Cool, right? Okay, so that's it for today. See you guys next time. Bye.